and a whole lot of responsibilities as a male child I'm supposed to take over and that I'm trained for, you know. And then a part of it requires you to understand what the people are going to call you or what your people are going to call you, because it matters to them and it matters to you. What the people say when they call you, you know, like Idi Amin. Idi Amin would say, call me Idi Amin, the conqueror of British Empire, because it matters what the people call you, you know what I mean? And that was the title, Bhele Galang, because I am from the Bhele clan, Dingulangu Mafu Kubon, and in my clan, mna ndingubhele Kalanga, because ekhaya ngundlunkulu. Thina singamabhele oqala, Olanga, the biggest clan. All the other sub clans is kids that were made at war, or it's kids that failed discipline. Then we're like, yeah, you can call yourself Bhele, but mhlambe ngudlambule wena.
Yeah, udlambule. Ah man, no pun intended. Hey, it's your boy Coffee, man. I'm out here in Cape Town, Kugulete, Barcelona, Matutu, Menglao, Guinea-Pole, South Africa, man. It's yet another episode of the Black Couch Podcast. Sibuyile by popular demand. Last week, umbane uzamile ukustopa. Well, we're about to shoot, and kwamoshakala umbane, only my hood, which is Barcelona. And the rest of Ikukuletu and Nyanga was on, and we had to postpone for another week, yabo. And right about now, we are about to take on a journey. I'm so happy finally we have a king, a legendary king himself. Abanye bamazi ngo LSP, abanye bamazi ngo Bhele Langa. Mnandimazi ngo Bob.
Yeah.
Mali. Bob, welcome to the Black Couch, King.
And I can feel the energy.
Yeah, man.
The energy is welcoming. It's energy for me. And it is the same energy that gave us strength.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Not to give up on living our lives and doing what we do best. So I'm grateful. I'm honored. I don't listen. You know, I'm living, I'm learning, because life is too beautiful and it's long. We need many activities to kill time and entertain ourselves and educate ourselves. So.
Yeah, man. Yeah, we're about to take a journey, because like I feel like this is not an interview. This is a conversation.
Yeah, well, no man is hiring. No one's looking for a job. So
you get what I mean? So King, like ever since I was introduced to you, yabo, as an artist, yabo. First of all, I never knew about uhlalapi.
Yeah.
I just saw you showing Upume.
That's it.
And then I've never heard you even on the shows. Like Bolo's Tando's introduce. I introduce myself. Yeah, I understand.
Yeah.
But I've never heard you say anything about where you come from.
Yeah.
Would you like to unpack that for the Black Couch audience?
I was born and raised and grew up in Cape Town. But I love to reference myself in Abazalbam, you know, Dungwanga Payaetu, you know, as much as I was not born there, but in Goapan. Anyway, in Cape Town I am. I don't take that seriously. Because before migration and exodus, Kwaku Kimfekan, you know, people have always been traveling all over the world. And for me to actually answer, you know, the first question you just asked me, where am I from? I'm from Cape Town. I'm a son of the universe. You know, I'm a son of the universe, and I got a passport.
I know what does that mean. When you have a passport, it means
passport. So traveling, man,
endless possibilities.
Endless possibilities, man.
That's dope. That's dope, King, man. I appreciate that you don't box yourself. Yeah, no. I understand. And you are evolving also with time. Yeah, Bolawe. And I wanna take it back to the old days. We were just listening to some of the old music before we started shooting, and for me, it was the best time of my life because you were one of the people that I can reference on in terms of what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Honestly, because I used to listen a lot of LSEMOS music, and I used to wish to work with FiveSix. Can you mean Khumelo Zulu for those who don't know, but FiveSix at that time. Yeah, but and you guys were like my huge inspiration. Tell me on how you met to FiveSix and also how LSEMOS was formed.
Good God. Oh my God. I met Five, I think I was 14 years old. I'm older now. I'm 28 years old. I met Five when I was 14 years old, and I had no beats. I remember there was Al Pacino in the same show, and Sasise Fletin in KDC, and Five was hosting this show with Rhymes Langa, and you were one of the brothers that were coming along, in this exodus, and JL, being a mutual friend amongst us. So Five was playing these beats, before the show starts. It's a cipher, and I'm thinking to myself, I don't have a beat, and this guy is playing all these nice beats, so I'm a performing artist, professional freestyler. Next thing I know, I'm on stage and I got the microphone in my hand, and I barely know half of the stuff I'm saying. I'm just looking at the figures and the object passing by, and I'm saying everything to everyone. And the next thing, Five asked me, where you from, son? You dope. I'm like, oh really? And he's like, do you have any beat? I'm like, no, I don't have a beat. He gave me that beat, and I think he sampled a track from Kanye, and he asked me to visit, come to the studio. The next thing we recorded The Only Father I Know Is My Mother. The next thing we recorded Black Men, Foot and Hands. The next thing we're doing Cape Corner. The next thing it's life, and how LSEMOS came about, it was my brother Svij. He wanted to sing so bad, but at the time the deal was only allowing me to use the studio and have access to all the resources that were available at the time. So how LSEMOS comes about, we come with this strategy that Svij should back up me because he's got a nice voice. In the midst of backupping me, of which that was how things were back in the days. You wanted to be a musician, then you needed to hype somebody so they can show you how they do it, and so that you can have access in their circle. And that was the scenario with LSEMOS. And the Black Pope Uhlubi was a brother I was studying with in high school, and he was a big hip-hop fan. He didn't really like rap, but he was so intelligent, and we couldn't resist it but to push him, or motivate him at least, to say, you know what, man, you have to. The world needs to hear you. You know what I mean? I'm sorry about this.
I'll give you the chance
to distracting the both of us. Luckily we're not on Oprah, Dr. Phil.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
So
man.
We did Black Men, Foot and Hands, and by the time we were like the Wailers in Mali, nobody could stop us. We were a band in the ghetto, and a whole lot of good people we met along the way that showed us love, and a whole lot of versions of success did reflect and gave us clarity based on what life means, and what does it mean when people show you appreciation. What does it mean when people respond to a song you only wrote when you were one man in your shack or in your room or wherever space you compose from, and having to look at that energy when you propose it live on stage and it moves 10,000 people or 15,000 people, and you're thinking to yourself, oh my God, what have I done? You know what I mean? So yeah, I think I'll just let it rest there for now, you know what I mean?
There's a story that I once heard.
Mm.
It's a long time ago. I might be telling a wrong story,
No, it's
or
fine.
like I got wrong information.
Uh-huh.
But there's a song of yours we just recently listened, Elo.
Hello, yes.
Yeah. And
Oh my God.
when it starts, wait. Maybe it's not the story that you think it is. When it starts, it says, I dropped an album and fought with everyone in my block.
Because City Slickers claim they support, but they ain't show no support.
And there's a line that says, would the people buy the CD? Really don't know. And I once heard a story that at some point there was someone who motivated you guys as LSEMOS and invested in supporting of a dropping of a project here. And is that true? And can you elaborate on that if it's true?
Yeah, it's true. No, a whole lot of information the common man says or gets exposed to is true. The only difference is rich people have labs. We don't. Rich people got computers and they can research stuff. We don't. But most of that information that circulates around the hood, whether you're a public figure or you're just a nobody, is true. You know what I mean? There were so many people, Kofi. You know, it was not only one individual. There were so many people. There are still so many people who show love. In this case, you're talking about, yes, there was a gentleman that showed love to LSEMOS in terms of the venue, in terms of paying for the band. Imagine how old were we when we dropping LSEMOS? I remember I was doing matric. I was 18. I'm 18 years old. I got a backup, a vocalist, a switch, and there are guys playing instruments. I can't pay for none of this. I can't even take myself to the show. You know, and there was this generous gentleman who was like, you know what, guys? Because of I believe in the youth and I believe in the craft, and I know you guys are proposing something, you know, that's going to bring transformation in our landscape. That is true. You know, I can't mention most of those people's names, not because of they don't deserve the credit, but for the sake of safety. You know, because some of those people are high in power, some of those people are monsters. Anyone could be anywhere at any given time. That is the reality of it. Hence, I don't like telling people where I stay, because I don't want to be opening my door 5 o'clock in the morning and somebody came to see me and I'm like, what? You know? So,
I definitely get what you mean. I know, man. The reason why I wanted to confirm the story, because it's like, it's rare to find in the hood. Yeah, I understand. And I've once got someone who invested in me.
Sure.
At some point.
How does it feel?
It felt amazing, but unbelievable at the same time, because you didn't expect it.
That's the word, unbelievable. For me, I was scared. You know, at some point I thought I had to return the money, of which it would not be a problem because I had a manager, FiveSix, who was also my producer, so he'd work out the finances. My job is to sing. Whatever else happens, I just want my money when I'm done. You know, it's unbelievable because I think we live in so much toxic world to a point. Good people is not easy to sleep on them on a regular basis. If you walk down the street and somebody swear at you, that's so regular, that's so typical. But if you walk in the street and somebody says, hey, you dress nice, it actually, like, you know, a shock to your soul, because you're like, oh, good people are still around though. You know what I mean? Unbelievable was the term you used. I still never get used to it, you know, whenever, like, you know, people are like, listen, man, we see you, hold on into this, you know, hold on into this, it will put you somewhere, you know what I mean? Because the act of giving somebody something, you know, comes from giving or sharing to them common interest, or showing love to somebody you're really not related to, but actually securing the future. Because tomorrow, if we both not here, then our kids are. You know, so it has it's a sense of a human, kindness that I position myself for later stages in my career because of such. And that is why, even now, I don't want to say this, but we're going to it. What Kofi just asked me is the reason why we have such platforms like Kingundi. We're not making any money, but a whole lot of young black creatives from the hood are making use of that platform because of such foundation that was laid. You know what I mean?
That's true, man. And I love the fact that it's an endless
circle of life.
Yeah, I understand that. And the more it goes, the more it grows, the more it gets bigger and better. Yeah, I understand.
Yeah.
And I always asked everyone who's been at it's either what's the other name?
The shows from the days?
No.
Ingondi.
I wanted the first name, but I'm gonna take it from the second one.
Okay.
Everyone who's been to the Breaking Records. I just forgot the first one.
Heartbeat. What? Middle Testament.
The Breaking Records.
Oh my God.
The first entertainment. I've always asked everyone who's been part of La Movement how it is to work with FiveSix, or better known as Hlumelo Zulu now.
I'll tell you, bro. FiveSix is a perfectionist. FiveSix, like, he would not proceed because the particular type of a snare he's looking for is not available. You know, and now I'm a guy who writes, like, come to the studio and I got like 8 songs. And by the time I have another session, I've got another 5 songs or something. It's a very ironic relationship where we fight. We fight for ideas. We fight about ideas. We fight about the process of engineering and producing the song. And Five is very honest. If it's work, he's going to tell you it's work. I don't know how many songs are not released because they were not up to standard. And at the time, I was leading the pack, but at the same time, I was getting a whole lot of teachings. So there was a whole lot of information I needed to adapt to, and there was a whole lot of information I needed to communicate. And there's nobody who could have done it better than Uzulu. And it is no mistake that Zulu is still standing even today. Look at the producers nowadays from Cape Town itself, the CBD, straight to a culture. And Uzulu has been consistent throughout the years because he's a man of discipline. So for me, the relationship was more of a father and son. So as much as we're fighting about ideas, creativity, and production, but there was also a whole love, because you can't do anything without love. You know, up to a point, it stopped being about music. It became a brotherhood. And that is why yesterday I was in the studio with him. After how many years we did not link properly, and the day before that we were in an event in Khayelitsha. We're only meeting in these events and we look at each other and we're like, what's missing in our days? And what's missing nowadays is, of which what I took note is, if you're working with a team, it's only fair to go and hike with those people. It's only fair to go and have a swim, have a braai with those people, have a meal with those people, get to know your team. Because if you get to a level of being a brotherhood, then the most things that are supposed to bring segregation or separation in the midst of working, then you've already, worked them out. Otherwise, I don't see myself that I would have this intellect if Zulu was not around. I don't see myself that I would be this disciplined, grey linen shirt and grey charcoal, clerks, all smart, if Zulu did not have Lampembele Lokum, you know what I mean? So he's a very stubborn guy, but he's very creative. And he's very experienced, so I think the people that have worked with him before, would also be like, okay, we get where Al is coming from with this.
So before we're interrupted, those are sekas. we still continue anyway. I was about to ask you, when I king, like, in a perspective of LSP,
Yeah.
like, was there balance between you on stage and you on your personal life? Because I would imagine that you are doing, I'd say at that time, conscious music, or like you are teaching or getting taught at the same time. So most of the music was more like music that is also talking to the elders, I understand that, and like grassroots problems in the hood, and like trying to change that narrative, yeah. But like you as LSEMOS on stage, or LSP on stage, was it different from you being LSP endleleni?
Well, I would say, well, since there's no wrong or right or right answer,
yeah.
I would agree to disagree, you know, because whatever I'm saying on the mic is a reflection of my daily life. It's there, and most people really don't know this because I never confessed it on the camera, not because I was shy, but because I felt like it has nothing to do with the public. I grew up as a Rasta, you know, had a very strong and base Rasta foundation, and it is those teachings that I came across consciousness. And when I came across consciousness, then I realized that this doesn't belong to me alone. So at the time, I positioned myself more like as a consciousness banner. And on my daily life, I was on that transformation that almost wounded me. If Rastafari and the teachings of Ubuntu were not there. Because by the time, at the age of 14, I already decided what I want in life. Became a Rasta at the age of like 11. You know, at 14 was dreadlocks, you know what I mean? And at the time, it was a period in my life where I'm looking for a father and my father is not there. Hence my first album was The Only Father I Know Is My Mother. In the process of looking for a father, I am mentored by Rastafari how to deal with such social ills like fatherhood, brotherhood, one love, you know, Africa, one continent. And I was also in a phase where I was curious about the injustice in the world and the complexion of my skin. Why am I being treated like this? You know, what is happening to me? Or, you know what I mean? Having to try to understand the landscape that I'm placed upon. And me being the leader of LSEMOS at the time had a lot of influence in taking a decision based on what are we telling the people out there, and what are we feeding the people out there. Hence, I'm saying I would agree to disagree that there was a difference, or there wasn't a difference between when I'm on stage or when I am not on stage, because Amapula Mnyama is still a song I relate to now. And Amapula Mnyama is still a song that helped us address such things like Fees Must Fall, of which is my mother's favorite song. And being a musician or being an artist is a lifetime commitment, and it requires you to balance life by helping yourself from the get-go portray the lifestyle you're living, because the lifestyle you're living is your research as an artist, and the lifestyle you're living as an artist is how you choose to position yourself for the later purposes. You know, so yeah, that is my take for that. That is my take for that.
And cause for me it's like, the thing is, people are something on stage and then something else.
Something on stage.
At like real life. Yeah,
real
I understand.
Life. I'm sorry to cut you. That makes sense if you are an entertainer.
Yeah.
If you are an entertainer, well, what is this thing? You got a lingerie and a roach in your mouth and you're swinging in a pole. You're an entertainer. But to be walking in the street with the same outfit, it's a totally different ball game. But if you're an artist, I'm not saying entertainers are not artists, but there's a reason why they're called entertainers. And then if you're an artist, you understand that this is my outfit for performance because it proposes this aura. This is my outfit for performance because it sets this mood. However, I'm from the hood and I need to be realistic with my life and how I position myself in the street, because you need to be careful with what you attract and how you position yourself, or how you dress, or how you talk, how you even walk, communicates to somebody who's observing you or looking at you across the road. They decide they can approach you, or they decide they can mug you, or they decide that, you know what, just let him slide.
Yeah.
You know, and we've seen a lot of cases where a rapper's chain is snatched coming out of the club. Well, you have to understand this is real life. You're not on stage anymore.
Yeah.
And if you don't know the difference, it's in the book by Elizabeth. It's in the book called The Big Magic. It's the power of being aware where you are. The power of awareness. It's the power of awareness.
Yeah.
If you are aware where you're at, then that's it. Then you know how to blend. Then you know how to camouflage. You know.
Yeah. So my favorite album, that you have produced is the only father I know is my mother.
Yeah.
That's like
It's
from song 1 to I would never skip any song.
Yeah.
And I bought that CD. I still have that picture on my Facebook. The Bhele, Rasta Beanie, Solali Center.
Oh!
I still remember that day. I made a commitment that I'm gonna get that CD as soon as I heard you guys playing it a stage. And I want to ask you a question, because like I just want to get the essence, because I'm not deep, but like give me 3 words to describe the creative process, the actual work, like recording, and the final output. Just give me 3 words that describe that process for you.
A process.
I know it's a vague question, but I think I'll get what I I need to understand from.
I think love. Love is the first word. You know, love, and therapy, because the album was also a sense of therapy for me to express myself as a 15-year-old boy, having to see the role that my father could have played if he was only present. You know,
without finances or any other
complicated stuff. You know, love. What's the second one I said?
You said therapy.
And the third one would be communication. Love, therapy, communication. Love, therapy, communication.
I think that is exactly, not exactly what I was looking for, but now the answer is like exactly what I imagined.
Yeah.
Because if we go to the song that we just listened, you asking
and
yeah.
it's a true story.
Do you still love me?
You asking an answer.
An answer is communication.
Answer is communication. As answer.
And that song, I'm definitely sure it's therapy.
Yeah. In that, I don't want to talk about that stuff.
I knew it. I knew it.
I like.
That's why I didn't want to go deep, because I listened to the whole body of work.
And it's true.
Yeah.
It's you know, yeah.
Yeah.
That song is proof of evidence that I was alive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I understand. I that's why I could relate album, and the title also itself,
yeah.
And it's something that I've experienced in life, I understand. And honestly, I felt like umculo wenu, especially to this these kind of shows, like let alone the shows that you guys curate, but majority of the shows that you would attend, bro, like they were not ready for that type of content.
They were not ready. People were not ready.
It's also what bothers me in Goku. Yeah, I understand. We had a conversation about events now and how they're curated and what's the purpose behind curating those events. I understand. And for you, what's the difference between then and now in terms of like the type of events and also like sessions, if we can put them together?
Well, first of all, the thing is, we come from an era of people so-called traditional artists. Traditional artists were very highly disciplined individual, like a sculpture artist. That is how our generation portrayed itself. And we were smart kids by deciding that, you know what, we're actually going to learn from our big brothers. We're going to learn hygiene. We're going to learn communication. We're going to learn what it means to send a message across properly. Because as much as people were not ready, but their response showed that, they appreciate and they admire this. And people back then, if you are a sound man, that's where you would be in the show.
Yeah, clean.
Coffee is a sound man, he deals with sound. If you're selling books, that's where I'm not saying that people limited themselves, but people were specializing in activities that were very specific and vital to the culture. In our days, first of all, people don't want to do research. People don't want to go to school or any form of equipping themselves for education. And the result of that, it reflects in the craft. Because one wants to be a photographer, and photography is broad. One wants to be a designer, and design is broad. So you have an industry with cats that are jump-offs and who are literally in it for the likes, but what is the content that this weight carries? What are we saying to whom, and what is the impact of all this junk at the end? Because I'm able to sit here based on an album that I dropped in 2015. It's 2023, but I'm sitting here because of the content that the tape carried was so much that we couldn't digest it in the same year and have a podcast about it. It's something that happened at the time, and then many years later we're sitting, never mind what differences, we still like finna reflect on that project, because whatever that project had is still the reason why that we still have this bond right now. And we're still talking about it right now, because classics are better than hits. And today's generation is what they need to understand. You can't make a song that gets 1 million views and there's no follow-up. And last but not least, the most nightmare you come across when you come across those views is actually realizing that you're not whom you're saying you are. And today's the world of internet. What you say goes, regardless you knew or you didn't know. And how you position yourself at first hand encounter is how the world is always going to remember you. Whether it's a stunt or a joke, the whole world is going to know about it. And that's what I feel like, it's killing today's generation. Everybody's got a phone on, everybody on their hands, and I feel like cats should put all these devices away with some time, go and jog, go and read a book. I'm the Eastern Cape kwamalumo kanye kokweni. We're not, as youngsters, we're not engaging with real life anymore. We are in this, we want something that's already cooked. We are in these spaces so-called, if you're not performing in Woodstock, you're not a real artist. Get out of here. Get out of here. We entertain these social norms too much. Back then, social media was not the thing. Tina, we could find our way around by word of mouth. And it happened.
Yeah.
You know? So as much as we have improved and gained a whole lot of independence, we forgot the formula. And the formula is the most important. Because if you have the formula, it doesn't matter if you're baking by coals outside. If you have the formula, it doesn't matter if you're baking with the microwave inside. You still don't have the formula, it's still not going to come out right.
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
that's what I'm urging, you know.
Yeah.
From
I was about to ask you actually.
No, form of movement.
I was about to ask you actually, because like compared to what's going on nowadays, there's another aspect, because you said earlier on that in order for Usvich to be able to access what you could access, he had to start there
and be my hype man.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah.
And then the difference now is like there's accessibility of the resources.
It's too
You
much.
understand? Is it for you, like, how do you view it? Is it an advantage, or is it like because like there's so many misuse or misconception, and like some other things are overdone, like it's just because of the accessibility. Is the accessibility a good thing, or is it some sort of a black hole?
I'll tell you something. Now I avail myself. I'm available, but I'm not accessible. There's a big difference. I avail myself in the sense of, if you are a creative and there's a project that needs to be done, and however I suit or I fit, then. But in us working, I don't by any means necessarily put my personal opinions over professionalism. Today's world, I mean, even checking how young kids record, you know, I was taught to record like I'm performing. Because I didn't have money for studio. I didn't have studio. So by the time I get to the studio, I could record 5 songs. Because I record them like I'm performing them, and that enforces me to know them.
Yeah.
I don't go to the studio with lyrics.
Yeah.
Because not being accessible to the studio at the time, according to how I want, gave me the courage that if I get a studio by any means necessary, I'm gonna nail it. But you can see cats, dog, like, I'm not gonna lie, man. Brothers and sisters, we need to go back to our basics. And it doesn't have to be in terms of craft only, in our whole lifestyle. How we eat, how we dress, how we treat each other. The basics go a long way, and someone who has the basics, they go a long way, because they are informed about A, B, C, D. To a point, if I would take any show from today and put it at all anyone's platform, it would be a big joke. Because now, because of lack of discipline and too much access, cats are miming.
Yeah.
And we're like, did you come here? And we're like, did you come here to play us your song and you got a microphone to hype your own self? Oh, I get it. He did not rehearse.
Yeah.
Or whatever the story may be. And the level of performing without miming has declined. And how cats supposed to keep their composure. Everybody got something to say nowadays. Yeah, we get it, it's freedom of speech, but if you say less, people are hungry what comes out of your lips on a regular, because it is what it is. You know, so those are, you know, things I take note of along the way. Too much access ain't right. Matter of fact, too much of anything ain't right. It's the same conversation we had earlier on, like putting music on radio still the in thing. And I was like, well, average minds listen to radios and few intellectuals, however, but none of those people really buy music anymore. But however, for an artist, it is your advantage to be in their subconscious minds. Just, you know, stick around in a way. So,
cause like I want to clear this thing. Like my intentions was not to take any route with this because I told you it's not an interview, it's a conversation. So it happened that it went to that route, and what I wouldn't say hate, but what bothers me a lot with like abantu abafikayo and people who are still trying to do this thing, it's lando yoba when they get a perspective or some sort of, not really advice, but let's say perspective from someone who has done it before and still doing it, it's more like I understand that and all that thing. I understand. And whereas it's not even about the person, yabo, it's about like taking care of the upcoming artist because you've been in that place. For me, nah, like honestly, I'm done with the game thing. I'm not in the game anymore. Yeah, understand. I'm all about me, all about my stuff. Yeah, understand. For me, doing some of the work that I do, yeah, understand that, like
You're
giving
living.
back. It's more like like as a sindo that I didn't get when I was doing this thing. When I uzfumane in a state whereby you understand, you overstand what you are getting yourself into. Yeah, understand, because it's not easy. Yeah, but it's not easy. So I just want to make sure that people understand that this is not about trying to demote or discourage. It's all about making sure that we all understand what we're doing. Yeah, understand. So that as a consumer, I can easily be convinced to Mandi Amende show it till. Because now I think twice. Yeah, understand. I'm like, oh, same old thing. Yeah, understand that it's ignorance everywhere. So we lose audience all of them. Because back in the days, we didn't even have to make a poster to get audience. Poster was not a thing.
Poster was a word of mouth.
Yeah, understand. Like you could easily get people. Yeah, understand. And also the quality of the show could easily get more people.
Now how I see it now, how the whole industry has transformed. It's a matter of why do we still go to theater if there are cinemas now? And for me, I'm like, yeah, it's a good question. But theater came first, and theater requires high discipline. And as a creative person, I still go to theater. Cinema is okay, I have kids.
Yeah.
So we go to cinema in that sense for the young generation.
Yeah.
For reference purposes only. And that's the difference. You got all these big brand platforms, but cats should be able to do it unplugged and not depend upon anything, because the basics, machi. The basics, machi. You can't be a painter if you don't know color.
Yeah.
No matter how smart you think you are, you need to educate yourself. What color comes out when I put these two colors? Because the basics go a long way, and it's what we have forgotten now. It's all about clout now, and a whole lot of it annoys me. There's whole lot of bunch of people who leading what so-called today is, and most of them don't get along with. Most of them got along with, and for me, I don't even give them a space to interfere or penetrate my subconscious mind, because I'm like, you don't exist. You don't exist to a point. How you gonna have 1 million views and you commit suicide and nobody cares about you or nobody cared about you? That's how much this music thing has become so cheap. And nobody is working for free. The whole point is to make money, But maybe you should stop telling us how much money you've made. You should keep it yourself, because it's yours, not ours. Because at the end of the day, you're the one going to cry when they come and say, can you cough up some protection fee or something? So niggas should be relevant with reality as well, because if you're not, then you will be in the most unprepared way.
Yeah, it's good tough, King, good tough. It's really tough. Like, honestly, again, I didn't plan for lay episode to take a certain direction.
The direction. No, I'm happy you did it.
Yeah, and there's so many things that I wanted to talk about.
Sure.
But now I'm thinking, let me just put them away for now. And I believe that this is not the last time you are in the couch. Yeah, understand?
Let's hope so.
Yeah. Inshallah.
Inshallah.
Inshallah, man. Yeah. Inshallah, but like, I just wanna tap a little bit. Maybe some other time we'll be able to go deeper. But like the transition from LSP to Bhele Langa, and also Bhele Langa, the artist, the painter. Okanye unelinye igama mhlawumbe Lindisipho.
No, yeah. Me changing names has been an indication of growth. You know, and I appreciate it. I'm a free man, and in many ways I communicate that I'm free. Changing my name because I'm nobody's slave. Changing my name because I am in a process of getting to know who I am. It's a lifetime process. I can never put a full stop to it. And by the time I was LSP, I was a 14-year-old kid. Bhele Langa came out like 3 years ago, 2021 I think. And it was a process after I went home and a whole lot of responsibilities as a male child I'm supposed to take over and that I'm trained for, you know. And then a part of it requires you to understand what the people are going to call you or what your people are going to call you, because it matters to them and it matters to you. What the people say when they call you, you know, like Idi Amin. Idi Amin would say, call me Idi Amin, the conqueror of British Empire, because it matters what the people call you, you know what I mean? And that was the title, Bhele Langa, because I am from the Bhele clan, Dingulangu, Mafu, Kubon, and in my clan, mna Bhele Langa, because ekhaya ngundlunkulu. Thina singamabhele oqala, Olanga, the biggest clan. All the other sub clans is kids that were made at war, or it's kids that failed discipline. Then we're like, yeah, you can call yourself Bhele, but mhlambe ngudlambule wena.
Yeah, udlambule. Man. No pun intended. A table for three.
I mean,
yeah.
You know, and I appreciate it. You know, it's not something, you know, I take personally. It, you know, it plays as a reminder. It plays as an appreciation. It plays a phase in my life that I am embarking on. For example, you tap on something, painting. A whole lot of people know I write, I perform. Not everybody knows I paint. You know, and for me, they lucky we have this podcast, and we you know, we're talking, because I am not walking around telling people I'm painting.
Yeah.
If you know, you know. If you don't know, you don't know.
Yeah.
But it is what it is, you know. By the name, my daughter's name is Langa. Reference. Keep the history within.
Yeah.
Because there's also so much weight in a man's name.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's a beautiful day, man.
Yeah, it is. It is amazing. It is amazing, and the perfect timing. I appreciate the perfect timing. It's just cruising. super amazing.
We're cruising. Is it one of those Metro cruise ships? Metro FM cruise ships. It's a black cash cruise ship.
Yeah. Yeah. It's the AI world, Gog. It's getting crazy. It's getting crazy. I had a question, but one of my last questions. We're talking about Bhele Langa, ne?
Yes.
And the painting.
I'm much interested in Bhele Langa.
Yeah, well. And yeah, I wanted to understand now. Has the music evolved from the LSP concepts and the music to Bhele Langa and his sound go?
Yes, definitely. I mean, with time comes change. You know, with time comes change. When I was LSP, my perspectives was my perspectives.
I love it.
I mean, don't cut that on the clip. My perspectives were based on, I'm a 14-year-old black boy from the hood, and I was rapping based on my perspectives in the township and what was happening and what everyone's mind was thinking around me. Bhele Langa speaks of the rural landscape. If you listen to the song, Bhele Langa lona, Bhele Langa lona, Bhele Langa lona, awe madoda eshe indoda emnyama nginokwesaba. Even the language changes. Bhele Langa doesn't sing in English. Bhele Langa ucula isiZulu or ucula isiXhosa or ucula isiMfengu, any of these native languages, whether be it Swahili, because Bhele Langa has done it all. By the time I decided that I'm Bhele Langa, I felt like now I can say all the stuff I always wanted to say, but there was, you know, so-called management at the time that was like, you can't say that. And I'm like, what's the point of being an independent artist if I don't have freedom of expression? That's why we're independent, so that we can express ourselves, you know, without justifying or being two-sided about it. Because how I feel or think as a human being, ain't nobody can express themselves or articulate themselves as exactly as how I feel, because it is only I, as Peter Tosh says it, he who feels it knows it. And Bhele Langa is a young lion from the rural landscape, and I'm picking matters of my focus is shifting the attention of the mainstream and focusing it, directing it to the rural area. Because in the rural area, as much as we're stuck in the city and we are overcrowded and overpopulated, but sinamasimi nensimi nje thina negadi namanxiwa apha still kusabekwe izindlu khona. So why are we in the city? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
And,
good question.
picking on matters of identity, picking on matters of culture.
Yeah.
Because for me, it is more or less of being emotional, but being spiritual. Bhele Langa. You know, if it was LSP, I probably had a gold chain on. But Bhele Langa has got this.
Yeah.
You know, so I would say Bhele Langa is the man in me. You know, peeling out of my skin or manning out of my chest. That, you know what, man, if you are a soldier, Bhele Langa is a rank you've earned. You know, it's a rank you've earned. That's how I sees it now, you know. And Bhele Langa has got an album coming out titled Ingwele Cheche.
Now I get it. Okay, I get it. Why were that other day about that song? Because I don't want to spill it out.
Yeah, no, don't worry, man.
There's a reason why you should come back on the couch. Because like I feel like we took a different path, and I'm also happy about the path, because I'm definitely sure that it's gonna be an eye-opener, more especially for someone who follows craft yakho, understand, and also people who are willing to learn, understand, and just in general, as I love to say, era yetu, understand, there's a lot that they also gonna reflect on, understand, because like there's so many people out there that feel like they've lost themselves within the game.
Yeah.
You understand? And they're not quite sure if they still have it in them. But like definitely it's still there, but it just needs that revival. You understand?
Yeah.
So the conversation that we just had, I'm sure it's gonna play a huge role. It's gonna spark something out there, and I appreciate that it happened now and not then, because that time I think it wouldn't be the same as now. I understand, and I appreciate the fact that like you've told some of the things that you have never said on camera or on the mic. Yeah, I understand, and I welcome you on the Black Couch.
And I'm welcome, man.
Hopefully in the next coming episode that we'll see together, we're gonna unpack more stuff, and it can be an ongoing thing. Yeah, bro. Yeah, man. All the best, my
Thank
king.
You, Coffee,
all
man.
The best. All
Thank
the
you,
best.
Coffee, man.
Shout out to Lindisipho, LSP, Bhele Langa, the musician, the painter. Well, I'm a photographer at some point.
That's what up.
You still a photographer?
I got papers, man. I went to school.
I know, cause like I was like, I'm a jag on photo no make. Pictures up. Photographers, the pictures is gafilio. Otherwise, yeah, man, highly appreciated. Highly appreciate your time. Yeah, check out Bhele Langa online, available.
Bhele Langa.
Everywhere.
Instagram, Bhele Langa. Facebook, Bhele Langa. WhatsApp, Bhele Langa.
Yeah.
Bhele Langa.
Is it on Instagram? Do you have any links there?
I can put them up.
Yeah, man. Put the paintings up. The link. The
links. Oh yeah.
On Instagram.
Okay, I will.
Because people are always interested in art.
No problem.
Watching.
Well, tell those people I'm exhibiting in Chicago as we speak.
He is exhibiting in my third hometown, Chicago, Illinois. I'm coming next year. We're gonna be fucking shit up.
All the time.
Yeah, man. Shout out to everyone who got to this point. That means you're a true Mayhemmer. And shout out to everyone who has subscribed on our YouTube channel. Check us out on Instagram. It's the Kasi Mayhem TV. And check us out on Facebook, the Kasi Mayhem TV. And make sure that you join our group, the Kasi Mayhemmers, and become a Mayhemmer and cause some chaos. We are causing chaos with this thing, man. Shout out to everyone in the hood that's doing it big, and also making sure that the young kids are getting to good spaces and then good timing and everything. We're all about that. We're all about sharing information. We're all about making sure that we all eat, because this is life, man. We are part and parcel of each other. You are my reflection, and I understand myself through you, and you understand yourself through me, and everyone who's sharing this lovely earth with. So shout out Bafethu, man. It's your boy Coffee. I'm out here in Cape Town. Ekugulete Barcelona Matyotyombe Klaok in Nepal, South Africa. We're out.